Maja John Madden in Veracruz, Mexico. It's George Floyd's anniversary. 4 years since George Floyd got killed. That popped up in my own personal calendar today before I heard about it on public radio. Now, I've been doing a series of videos today, even though I've been a year in Mexico, where black-white issues are not really much of a thing. There are other issues, but overall racism is not as much of a thing in Mexico. There's a long history of oppression of indigenous people, but Mexico has come a long ways on that. Long ways on that. So the whole European Indian thing is still an issue, but they do so well with it overall, making real progress. I just made a video about my history as an interracial white man. White Irish Catholic kid from the southwest suburbs of Chicago who learned over the course of my long life how to walk the black walk. And I've done it. I've really walked it to the point where I've been telling stories about Louisville, Kentucky. When I showed up in Louisville, Kentucky the summer of 21, it was the most racially polarized city in the U.S., I'm pretty sure, after the murder of Breonna Taylor by white police. And so more than any place I had been, white people would get frosty looks from black people because they were mad. They were mad because things were not changing and the whole power structure was fighting against change. But I used to brag to the guys in my men's group over the phone that I could take a 40 to 50-year-old black woman in 45 seconds from, yeah, what do you want, honky, to, aw, you're so crazy, have a blessed day. Because culturally, I could talk like them, walk like them, dance like them, and they knew I loved them. They knew I wasn't afraid of them. So I've been telling stories about how I got there. The one I want to tell now is Christine Rogers was my favorite colleague ever at AT&T, where in early 1990s AT&T, we were both organization development consultants, and we were the two PhDs. Chris had a PhD, I think, in counseling. I had my PhD in clinical psychology. And she loved it. She was proud of having a PhD. She hadn't gotten there easy. And we loved each other, big time. She was a big, bold, brilliant woman. Couldn't sit still in a movie because she'd end up designing a program. She had to leave the movie to go out and design the program. That's how smart she was. And she had biracial kids, and I had a biracial kid, and we got the kids together. Well, the thing Chris and I did that really was one of my biggest forays into strutting my black self. The annual, I guess it was the Christmas party for the personnel department out of the Chicago region. There would be an all-day personnel meeting, all the managers, and at AT&T back then, black managers mostly were first and second level supervisors, not third level managers like Chris and I. And the big Christmas party would have a lip sync contest and dance. And it was really all organized by black staff, the first and second level managers, who were a lot of them black. And certainly the people who participated in the lip sync contest were not third level managers, and they were not white people overall. But Chris and I cooked up a plan. We both wanted to play in that lip sync contest. And Chris would have won. She absolutely would have won. She did Aretha Franklin, and she knew Aretha Franklin. They had grown up in the same church. And Chris had actually turned down the Motown recording contract that Aretha Franklin got, even though Chris was the most highly acknowledged soloist in their black church. Chris turned it down because she wanted to go to grad school. but she still identified with Aretha Franklin. So for the lip sync contest, Chris did Aretha Franklin. And she was tall, long-legged. Tour bus going through Veracruz. Might as well acknowledge the distraction. She had fishnet stockings up to her butt. She rocked it. She should have won. I won. And what I did was not the Trogs version of Wild Thing. She's a wild thing. But Tone Loc hip hop version, she loves to do the wild thing. And now, it had to be the last year you could get away at any major company at the Christmas party doing such an obscene song. And I wanted to do it. I really wanted to go deep into my black self. So I did the Kangol hat, the gold chains, the Adidas sweatsuit, dark shades. And all day during the personnel meeting, I was writing the lyrics so I could nail it, because I knew that if it wasn't killer, if it wasn't right absolutely on, it would be one of the sorriest chapters in my life. And I got it. One of the secretaries went to my secretary at the end of the day and said, "Oh God, now that John's done his lip sync, I'm so relieved, because all day long he was sitting next to me writing dirty poetry." So I nailed it. I killed it. And the other white managers at my level would say things to me like, "That was really very good." They were deer in the headlights. I was proud of myself. And on the dance floor that night, no, it was the previous year before that, on the dance floor, one of the black secretaries said, "I knew there was something different about you, because I do dance pretty black." Okay.